Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Coinpanion. We're an Austrian-based company and basically offering asset management solutions for crypto. So helping people to invest in these new things without putting in the time and research which is necessary to succeed in such a market. And today I'm going to talk a bit how it was for us to get quickly out as a startup, try around, get the iterations on the product without failing.
Okay, hi everyone again. Aleksandar Matanovic, co-founder and CEO of ECD Crypto Exchange in Serbia. A few months ago we celebrated our first decade of doing business, which, as far as I know, makes us the oldest crypto business in the region.
Bravo, bravo.
Hvala, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Stevan and I'm the CEO of Veli. Prior to founding Veli, I used to work for 5 years in banking. When I made a big switch to crypto, I never looked back. First 2 years I used to work for Bitpanda, which is a large Austrian crypto broker. And after that, I worked as head of business development for Cryptomat. During this time, I basically realized that people who are entering crypto are facing three large challenges, that the whole complexity of the system is very high and it's very difficult for new people to enter crypto. Secondly, it's very time-consuming to actually to invest in crypto and to monitor the markets, to do the research on their own. And third, investing is very risky. So with that idea in mind, we started developing Veli, a crypto platform which enables any investor out there to get access to a personal crypto mentor they can consult with, to save time by using educational materials which are prepared in a very simple language, and thirdly, to invest in automated strategies as well as individual cryptocurrencies with a few taps of a button. As we like to say, other platforms are like supermarkets. We're building a concierge service for crypto.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for those incredible introductions. We are going to pass it on to you first, Aleksandar. And can you give us your experience at first with Kraken and essentially not owning the tech, the client, the fees, and how is that different with Tradecore?
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's important to go back a bit how this whole journey started. So in 2020, we had the idea of creating an asset management solution for crypto. And as like young founders out of university, you don't have the capital knowledge, the time to really build on a platform. So we're like, okay, what's the quickest fix to just test out what we want to do? And we're like, okay, there are exchanges out there. Can we not just use their tech? Then if you Google around a bit and check out their APIs, you find out, okay, it's not that easy to use the APIs for real white labeling solutions. So what we started to do was actually created a Click bot, which was creating the accounts of Kraken in the background and then basically simulating the white label just using Click bots. It worked out pretty fine. So we got some first customers on the platform. We saw some traction in it. And we're like, okay, this is going in the right direction. But the more and more customers came on the platform, the more the complexity increased. Because it's not a scalable solution if you just have a bot clicking to the website and creating accounts for customers. But yeah, then we were just at the point, okay, we are onto something. We have the first traction. Now we just have to make the leap to actually get into a scalable system. And again, as a startup, we are limited resources. We're thinking, okay, what can we do? So we tried again to research, okay, how can we get out in the market with a scalable product as fast as possible without creating the tech? Because in the end, our value is creating the asset management part and not the brokerage and exchange part. That's already solved by other companies. And then we luckily stumbled upon Tradecore, which exactly is offering that. It's a white label brokerage solution, which just solves this issue for us, creating accounts, buying and selling cryptocurrencies, but we can just put our value proposition on top and say we do the asset management part of it. So it's really going from clickbotting to a more white label focused solution to actually deliver the value.
Wow, thank you. So one thing that is really interesting, and we know that you're the OG here when it comes to this, Alex, is to talk about your experience in getting the license here in Serbia. and then we can pass it on to, how you had gotten, someone here had gotten their license in Austria and how they've managed that. So if you can just kind of navigate how that was like.
Well, first of all, my experience in getting the license in Serbia is incomplete because we still haven't got the license. It has been a very long and exhausting process. Hopefully, it could come to an end in the next couple of months, but I'm not 100% sure that will happen. And hopefully, some of the future crypto businesses that will go through this process will have a much smoother ride because I hope that regulators will learn in the process, and I hope there will be also companies, maybe lawyers and accountants and maybe service providers who specialize in helping companies getting those licenses, like we have. For example, in Estonia, you have a lot of companies specialized in helping startups getting the license with not too many costs and within a reasonable time frame, which is not the case here yet at the moment. We have been in procedure for 11 months, and if you add 4 or 5 months of preparations for the original application, it has already been almost a year and a half, which is too much for this industry that needs to move much faster. And basically, if we want to position ourselves as a crypto and blockchain-friendly jurisdiction, it needs to be much faster and much easier.
And this is why this talk is about whether building a crypto platform is a dream or a nightmare. So thank you for being very real with us. And I'm going to pass it on to you, Stevan. Can you share with us at this point to reflect on the aspects that you're currently taking into account as you're going into the development phase?
Sure, definitely. So what I want to say that we're currently at the start. So to give you a little bit perspective, the guys are already working in well-established businesses. We're at the beginning, and every beginning is really exciting. So it puts you through the whole night of work without even noticing. And on the other hand, it can be very emotional because like any decision in your business that you make, it can make or break your business. So we had to make a lot of decisions, me personally, starting from whether I need a co-founder and how many. This is actually a big decision because when you're starting such a long-term partnership, it's like a marriage. You need to spend a lot of time with this person for the next 10 plus years. So I was very fortunate to find a really good CTO who's a serial entrepreneur and also core team members which are experts in the industry. And I'm confident that with this team we can build great things. Next thing that we had to decide was like which markets do we tackle. So we had to take into account the market size, like how many people live in a certain country. Then what's the crypto adoption in that country, so how many people are already in crypto? What are the payment rails in that country? What's the currency, the language? How much income do the people have? How much savings? How is the crypto regulation in that country? Is it favorable or not? So taking all of these factors into account, we decided to go for a healthy mix between countries where we have some kind of competitive leverage in terms of language, connections, and so on, and certain countries which are big enough markets that they're exciting and where we can help many customers. Next thing we had to decide is basically in which country do we incorporate the business. And taking many factors into account, we decided the best place for us at this moment is Lithuania. The reason is, of course, one of the reasons is taxes and so on, but in terms of country reputation, it's a very well-known, legitimate European country. Also, the crypto regulation has lately been very favorable in Lithuania, and we are allowed to issue a token there, so that was one of the reasons. Then next thing that we had to decide is and I'm going to talk about that later in the last round, whether we build everything from scratch or we go for some white label solution, and we had to take into account time and cost factor. Next thing, we had to decide whether we go for our own license or leverage the license of our white label provider. And we basically decided to start lean, to use their license, and then later on, once we find product market fit, to go for our own license and allow users to deposit fiat onto our bank account in our own name. Next thing that we had to decide is basically whether we raise capital through an equity or a token issuance. Initially, our thought was as with every business, to go for equity round, and we actually had an offer. But in the meantime, after consulting with our advisor, we decided maybe it's better to go for a token raise. And then once we decided for that, we had to decide actually on which blockchain do we build our token. As we all know, Ethereum fees have been very high lately, and most ecosystem tokens were built on Ethereum, on ERC20. As our goal is to democratize crypto, to basically allow everyone to be able to invest, we didn't want our users to pay $50 per fee, so we decided to build our token on a different blockchain. Solana ecosystem has been growing a lot in the past year or so. Many dApps have been built, and transaction fees are very low, so we decided to go for Solana blockchain. And let's say one of the last decisions in this round that we had to make was whether we build a web platform or a mobile app. Ultimately, we decided to go for a mobile app because today's crypto investors, they're used to getting information quickly, and it doesn't make sense that they log into their laptop every time they want to check the value of their portfolio. So we decided to do a mobile app and build a website which is more for educational content and which will kind of convert people towards the mobile app.
Wow, that was a deep dive. So thank you so much for that. So I want to pull this back a little bit with you, Nikola, if you don't mind.
I'll try to be short for the first round, but first thing I want to say that this has been both dream and nightmare. Dream because you building something that people need, you helping the community, you helping the economy, and the nightmare because doing this business is really a nightmare, especially in first stages when the company is found, when you learn the market and everything else which is not yet established, like market in Balkan states. Lack of regulation is also a problem because everybody tried to push you away. There's a lot of red flags. So you have to be persistent. Alex knows it best. He's doing it for 10 years. I'm only 5. But what we decided to do, we had a problem because there was no such service in our country, and we decided to build it against all odds. We started it from the scratch. We built many things for these 4 years. We needed to be compliant, that's the first thing. There are many things in crypto business is behind the curtain. It's not seen, mostly anti-money laundering. It's a big break for any business that doing with money. So we decided to build a platform that has its roots in financial markets. Now we provide services not just for crypto. We are open to any financial product that wants interaction with payment and crypto. And it's a one big step toward the digitalization of finance based on blockchain. It's very important to notice. So now we support many blockchain projects directly. So anybody who has such project can link to our API, can connect with us and push its project through our platform. And it's unique for for this part of Europe, that's one platform that is compliant with European regulations and that can provide many services on one place. We are now currently behind crypto. Crypto is in our, let's say, in our blood, but we provide many services that are connected to traditional financial market. And I think it's a big thing for anything crypto, that it can interact with financial market, with traditional finance. So if you have a crypto project that it cannot be used, it can be bought, sell, sent, and everything else, you just only have one half of the product. So we try to provide for both sides, both for crypto and financial market.
Got it. Thank you. So I want to pass this question to you, Alex. Let's talk about wallets and ledger core technology. What are the benefits to outsource this? Is it better to outsource, keep it in-house? What is your experience?
Yeah, I mean, if you look like how many of the crypto exchanges nowadays are built, is that they essentially, most of them use some sort of white label solution in the background. So Fireblocks, one of the biggest custodian providers, ledgers, they're like really big companies which already offer SaaS products for this industry. And as in most products, it just makes sense to use specific parts of different other companies in your product just to be fast and better, because you cannot be the expert in everything you build. And especially if you look like into crypto products, it's a pretty extensive network of products you actually need. You have custody, you have the payment issues, you have licenses, what you need, then there's liquidity. There are like a lot of things happening under the roof and in the background, and it becomes more and more complicated the more you do yourself. So I guess the most important question you have to ask yourself if you build a company in that space is, what is the actual value I want to deliver to the customer? What is the on top I deliver to the market? And what is just an addition to deliver that value? And I guess custody and ledgers is, for most companies, especially in the cryptocurrency exchange brokerage space, just an addition, right? There are already companies who are extensively good in creating custody solutions. So for us, it was just natural that we looked for other solutions to do that, because we don't see ourselves as a custodian, ledger provider, technology provider in that space, but we really see our niche in the asset management perspective. So in the end, it's always just a question of how much time do you actually want to spend on specific sub-products, or is it really about getting fast to the market and learn from the market to offer the service? And we just decided, yeah, we have to be fast, we have to be lean, and focus on what we are really good on, and not in what we are not really good in.
Very true. Thank you for that insight. I'd actually like to hear your take on this, Alex, please.
The things have changed a lot since we started our business. When we started, it was there were not really too many professionals in this business anywhere in the world, and we started it with the two of us basically working part-time on our exchange. We were not fully into that, and also having one developer who was working part-time, but even less than us. And it was enough back then, because not many people were doing that more seriously than we did anyway. But the times have changed a lot, and if you want to start your crypto business now, it takes a lot more money, a lot more resources, a lot more time. And unless you are trying to be a new Binance, for example, or Coinbase, if you are just launching a product targeting specific audience, not just targeting everyone in the world, then doing it all from the scratch and on your own is probably not a good idea, because you would lose too much time, and the market is changing very quickly. So if I would be launching a new crypto business now, I would try to use as many tools available as possible, both when it comes to technology and when it comes to regulation, payment infrastructure, and stuff like that, so I could test my business idea as quickly as possible. Because if I get into building it on my own and lose 1 year on that, at the end I realized it wasn't worth it, and I have spent too much money and too much time, and the market just doesn't wait for anyone.
Yeah, That's very true. Wow, a lot of good things, and it's one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Like looking things in hindsight. So the next question that I have for you is, what services would you need? Whether it's liquidity, KYC, KYT, landing. Stevan, can you lead this panel?
Sure, of course. Thanks for the question. Okay, maybe before answering this question, let's see how many people in the audience know the difference between a crypto broker and a crypto exchange. Let's see hands. Okay, not that many. So I will maybe explain first the difference between the two. Basically, an exchange is an infrastructure provider. They put together different traders who want to trade against each other or against market makers. So in essence, you're not buying from the exchange itself, but from other market participants. In case of a broker, you basically, broker is your counterparty. So when you buy from the broker, and when you sell to them. In general, exchanges are, I would say, more for people who are keen to trade, and those who want to just invest long term and are not very tech savvy. Broker is a better solution. So with that, I would like to say that to build a successful crypto broker business, you need a lot of building blocks. One of them is liquidity that you mentioned. And basically, you need a reputable exchange which has all the cryptocurrencies that you want to offer, and which also offers them in a pair with a fiat currency that you operate in our case, euro, and that there is sufficient liquidity on those pairs, meaning that if you sell a cryptocurrency, that you don't move the market a lot, the price. So that's important consideration. Typically, as you grow your business, you would need more than one exchange, simply because exchanges have downtime. Also, they don't offer all the cryptocurrencies that you need. So you can buy crypto from one exchange, like whatever, Bitcoin, Ethereum, then some altcoin from another exchange. And then as you grow even further, you might want to have smart order routing, meaning to buy at the best price at any given moment from the exchange which has the best price at that time. Second thing that you need to consider is KYC, meaning that we as crypto brokers, we need to collect certain data like name, address, do personal checks, whether this person is politically exposed person, and so on. Verify their identity, and also if they deposit a large sum, to check the origin of the funds. Typically, people use a KYC provider, so some company which basically does that verification for you. And depending on jurisdiction where you have the license, it can have a lot of implications. For example, in Austria, you need to verify the identity of the person by doing a video call with a live agent, which can be costly, and also you can lose some customers in that process. In Estonia, for example, it's enough to upload just an ID and do a liveness check, basically move your head around. The next thing that you need is KYT, meaning knowing your transaction, or in essence to monitor the blockchain and to make sure that no illicit funds reach your platform, because you as a company owner can be charged for money laundering and so on. And that's why a lot of companies use some kind of service provider that monitors the blockchain. As we know, blockchain is transparent and you can go back in time and check the transaction and make sure that it was not connected to some wallet which was on the dark web, or which was involved in some scam. Another important consideration is, of course, the wallet infrastructure. I think we covered that a little bit in the previous one. Let me add my 2 cents to that. Basically, when I was working for one company, we had 5 blockchain developers, and they were able to only add 2 new cryptocurrencies a month to our offering. In the other one, we were using some kind of provider which had all, hundreds of developers, and we were able within a month to add 300 cryptocurrencies, which is amazing at that all costs like a salary of one person. So as both said, it's better to use such kind of solution. And then last but not least, it's very important to have good providers in terms of banking and payment processing. With banks, it can happen that at some point in time, the bank changes the policy and basically decides to shut down your account, and it can put your business continuity into question. So you need always to have a redundant solution. And the same goes for payment processing company, which helps you basically accept credit card payments and different alternative payment methods like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and so on. So you need also a reputable name there, which has high acceptance rates and enables you to accept all of those payments.
And this is a really important topic, so I'm going to ask all of the other panelists to chime in on this. And I saw you, Nikola, shaking your head a lot, so I'm going to start with you.
About what?
This topic
The comment.
about...
Yeah. Yes, he's right. To be able to provide a good service to your customer, you need many building blocks. Many of them are already mentioned by my co-speakers. But the main issue with holding crypto is responsibility. So I got a lot of questions and I ask my customers a lot. Do you want to give your holdings, crypto holdings, to someone else, or you want to hold it by your own? So it's a matter of trust. That was the reason why we built so many things to please our clients. I will go back one step and tell that make everything for everybody is almost impossible. We mentioned Binance, it's the largest crypto exchange, but it's not for everybody. 80% of our clients does not use Binance. They just use our very simple interface and are able to interact with crypto in simplicity. Bitcoin is professional platform for traders, and Binance is not our competition. Binance is our partner, let's say. They are next step above us, and we are focused on providing the best service for exchanging money to crypto and vice versa. But also to give some insight in getting passive income from their holdings by itself, to make payments, to be able to transfer the money, not just crypto, but transfer for money between users, to get, as I said, passive income on holdings like staking and something else. And having complete platform gives you many options. On Balkan Crypto Exchange, as much as we grow, we are gaining bigger opportunity. We are getting new ideas. We are getting new projects. We are involving into many things. We are truly becoming a finance provider with crypto, with blockchain. And that's the main thing. But if someone wants to build in crypto exchange, I wouldn't recommend to anybody by itself. You need to have a team. You need to have a people. I have luck to start with 5 guys. Each was a specialist in its own business. So we have a banker, we have broker, we have IT guy. I'm an IT guy, just so you can know it. And that was the mix that put this project to success, because it's impossible for one man to push these things now. As Alex said, now it's a very different thing that it was a few years ago. Regarding getting something to build it by itself or using platforms, I will always choose partnership, let's say like this. So you need to have partners which will guide you through your project. Expertise, knowledge, and know-how is now value at least as much as some tools, as he said. We have a lot of work put into making our own tools, but the knowledge that we created along the way is priceless. So it's a very important thing, knowing what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, what should I add to that? I guess if you also look at the really big player nowadays, and yeah, you just said it, when you start now, you kind of have to go with a white label solution, otherwise you're just too slow. But also players like Binance, Klak, like really big known brands nowadays use white label partners for specific use cases within their product. For example, Kraken is not developing its own custody solution. They're using Fireblocks in the backend. And Binance is not doing its own KYC and it's not doing its own KYT. They're using OnFido or other different KYC providers and use Chainalysis for the blockchain analysis. So even though you're a really big player and doing a lot of things and have thousands of employees, to keep up the speed, you cannot focus on 1,000 different things at the same time and make it in a good manner. So partnership in that space, or I would say generally in the fintech space, is mandatory. And it's really true for all over the place, also beyond crypto. Like if you look at neobanks, like neobanks, classic brokers, Robinhoods, like all these fintechs which we know nowadays, they all use partners for specific services within their product. And so in my opinion, it's not really a question if you should do it, because you kind of have to, otherwise you have no chance. If you don't, you probably will develop still in 5 years and launch in 10. It's more the question of how much can you actually get into how much can you combine of these partnerships in a quick manner. Because there are many fragmented partners, and the question is, what makes sense for your business to do it yourself? How much makes it sense to combine them individually, or you use another platform which already combines them all in once? So it's just a question of the strategy you run with the business, but not really a question if you should partner or not, because you will never go around partnerships in that space.
I agree.
Yeah. Everyone's shaking their head, yes. Alex?
Okay, well, it's hard to add anything after they elaborated this topic really thoroughly. What is interesting, I think, about this panel is that we are all in the business of trying to make crypto products simple rather than building something really complex with hundreds of features. And I believe that this is the right way to go at the moment, because what we all want here is to get crypto into the hands of 8 billion people. And 8 billion people are not going to use Binance because it's too complicated and they don't have time to trade a whole day. They need something simple, something effortless. They need us to bring crypto to them. And we have to focus on customer experience. We have to focus on being close to our customers. And in order to be able to focus on that, we need to use as many partners as possible to have all the stuff in the background working while we are focused on customers.
Okay, so there's actually one theme that each and every single one of you had shared on stage, and it's the word partnership. I know as business owners, and for us growing in this community, partnerships are really good. Partnerships are very difficult to find. So from your experiences, and anyone can chime in at any time, how can we find the right partners in our business? Oh, they took a deep breath.
If I can start first.
Of course,
Okay.
please.
Well, it's a question of time. For each marriage, as he says, you need time to know your partner. But since the crypto is very fast, sometimes somebody will try to rush in. It's a first error. I think you need to know firstly what you want to do and then find the right partner. Of course, it's a question of reputation and negotiability about the services that you want to acquire. I did this a lot in the last few years, but partnerships are made to last long, and each partnership that is made on good foundation will benefit both partners. So many service providers offer services. Some are specialized services. Some have wide, let's say, selection of services like white label solutions are also mentioned. The both things are okay if that's what you need. And again I said, if you know what you want to make. For anybody who want to start this business, it's never too late. Let me say that. It's
Very
never
true.
too late, and it's better to do it now than later. But you have to choose wisely. Choose your partners because you need to have them on long term.
Okay, partnerships are not easy, and finding the right partner is obviously often difficult. In crypto, I would say it's probably even more difficult than in most of the other industries for two simple reasons. One reason is that the crypto industry is very young, and when you're looking for a reliable partner, what you are looking for at first is a track record. But most of the companies in the crypto industry have a few years of a track record at best. And that's usually not enough to be 100% sure that you will get a reliable service in the next 5 or 10 years. And the other thing that makes crypto difficult for partnerships is that things are changing quickly. Regulation is also changing quickly or appearing quickly all around the world. And sometimes you can build a partnership, then new law comes and you figure out that you are not compatible with them anymore because of the regulation issues. So you need a way to manage that. The way we are trying to manage that as good as we can is building our own system in a way that is not too dependent on any particular partner, and which makes it possible to basically unplug one service provider and plug in another service provider in a way that doesn't affect the business too much. And I think that kind of flexibility is necessary in crypto if you want to survive, because circumstances can change very, very quickly. And I'm not just talking about the price. I'm talking about really everything, because it's a crazy industry. It's the most fun industry in the world, but it's far from easy.
Yeah, very true.
It's fun.
It is fun. I mean, that's why we're all here. It is fun. And that was a lot of really great insight. And I know that everyone here that is here in person and those that are joining us online, there's a lot of key takeaways. So I'm going to wrap this up with this final question that I really want to share with all of you, and for each of you to chime in, is build versus buy. Right, that's kind of like a hot topic here. And which of the previous ones should you build versus which ones should you consider buying? And maybe Stevan, if you can kick this off.
Sure, thank you, Dajana. So for us, it was not that of a difficult decision. Basically, I would say the most important factor that we took into account is time to market. Building the whole crypto broker solution on your own, which is semi-good, would take probably a year or even longer. And it makes no sense because currently the crypto adoption is really growing exponentially, and we want to capture a part of that growth. So we decided to go for a white label provider such as Tradecore, and basically utilize their infrastructure, leverage their license, all of those services that we previously mentioned, like liquidity, banking, etc., etc. And basically focus our efforts on what we do best, our USP, and that's basically attracting customers, bringing value to them, giving them access to a personal mentor, simplifying the education for them, and basically offering automated strategies.
Thank you. Alex?
Yeah, for us it was basically the same decision. It's always about time to market and what is your core value. And so for us it was definitely the choice, buy the products which you can have and build what brings the value to the customer. So for example, now that we're creating an asset management solution, we will not outsource our core value, but the brokerage is something in the back end which we just need to fulfill the value. So yeah, buy.
So I want to wrap up this panel with, just hearing from you guys, what is something that now that you've gone through all of this, you've gone through a lot of the nightmares and you worked through it, still working. What are some things that you would have done differently at the beginning, knowing what you know now?
I can say that if I knew what would happen, I will never start it. First, I wouldn't lose my hair. But
Thank you for being
during
honest.
the process, during the process, I wouldn't do anything different. Of course, we made an errors while we are a startup, but those errors teach you a lot. For last question, build or buy, I will say always buy what's already done and build what you want to develop later. Because every company that does such kind of business must develop itself. So it must have in-house development process to get connection with their clients, to provide services that is needed. Each market is separate, and you need to get it close to the people that you want to. So I wouldn't do it anything else. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything else. To meet nice people, to meet so much people and to talk about so many teams. This is wonderful business. It's hard, it's frustrating, it's sometimes a nightmare, but it's been a nice ride all the way.
Thank you. And we'll just go down.
Yeah. If I would have known how hard it is, I would also not be here. I think we did the right thing by actually just trying it out, like trying to bring the value to the customer as easy as possible, even though we knew this is a system we cannot maintain, with the Kraken example, with the botting system. So I think as long as you really always have in mind, okay, this lean principle, how can I get my minimum viable product out to the market and learn from it, as long as you really dedicate yourself to that, you're going the right direction. And you make thousands of errors along the way, and there's for sure specific ones which apply to us, which we would do differently. But generally, I think as long as you always have in mind, okay, I just want to learn as fast as possible, you're actually going in the right direction.
Thank you.
Okay, regarding build or buy, I would say build those things that you think you can build better than the others, or different than the others. Maybe you want to make something that no one has ever made, so those things you obviously have to build on your own. And whatever you can buy, it's probably better to buy it, especially when it comes to, for example, custody solutions, because those are very, very tricky. So if you don't want to specialize in that, then just take something that is already available. And regarding what I would have done differently, well, my biggest regret is actually that when I got into crypto, I didn't get all in. I was like, oh, let's try this, but not try with everything I have, both regarding the resources I had and the time I had. So let's see if there's something there. I was too cautious at the beginning, and that's my biggest regret, that I didn't go all in from the start. I think we could have built a bigger and better service.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback and honesty.
Thank you. So we, opposed to all the other speakers, are just at the beginning, so we are about to make mistakes and hopefully learn from them and so on. Luckily, we have an experienced team, so we're not starting from scratch, we are starting from experience, so hopefully this will help us, do things faster and develop our USPs and help many people.
And this wraps up our panel talk. Can you please join me in giving them a great round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.